No, before we get into this, I just want to say, this is obviously spoilers. Like, this is the most spoilers you'll ever see for Scarlet, and also this will probably make no sense if you haven't played the game, because duh. Please play Scarlet. It's an amazing game, and it's pretty cheap. It's not like 20 euros it's not like 50 or 60 euros, like some Clash Royale skin I saw the other day. But that's besides the point. So before starting this, I have to, show you this. Yeah, you're seeing this here, right? This is our board. Here we will, gather the most information we have, and we will decipher Carmilla. And I will not call her how would she call it? Sybil. I will not call her Sybil because she is Carmilla after all, and she is playing the whole town like a fiddle, and here's why. So I will start with the most crazy thing. Carmilla impregnated Dr. Kelly. Now you might ask yourself, what the fuck do you mean by that? Carmilla did not impregnate Kelly, which it makes sense. Carmilla is weak; she doesn't have that much power. But if you look at Julius, he made a deal with Carmilla that he wants a baby, and he got a baby. Just a little bit fucked up. So how are we sure that this wasn't Carmilla's work? Now you might ask yourself, but why would Carmilla do this, huh? Why would Carmilla make Kelly pregnant? Because Kelly doesn't trust Carmilla. It seems like Carmilla wants control over the town as much as possible. We can see that when Duke dies, Carmilla goes on and goes to his family and gives them tea. And now we will come to the tea. The tea is brainwashing the town. Unlike a lot of other people, if we use the traits mystical, we can literally see that something is extremely wrong with the tea. And here is the biggest part. If we call her out on that, would have I think it was start drinking the tea before with Avery in the diner. We cannot stop drinking the tea. We can ask her what the fuck is going on, but then we're just in a loop, asking her the whole time, and she's just saying, "Oh, you must be very confused. Oh, you must be very confused. Oh, you must be very confused." Like, this is next generation of gaslighting. Also, another reason why I do think that Carmilla made Dr. Kelly pregnant is because Kelly doesn't know who the father is, because she got pregnant from dreams, quote unquote. My dog wants to leave my room. Give me a second. And here's the thing about this. She said something about magic stuff. Who is the most powerful magician, and maybe the only magician, except of the entity and Wayne, that can use magic? Carmilla! So Carmilla must have, done some creepy ass black magic, gave her some wet dream, and then made her pregnant with Reese, which Reese creatures, the emotional beings, or whatever they're called, they seem similar to they have some similarities to Carmilla's true body, which I don't judge, but it's weird just saying Carmilla. But that's why I do think that Kelly was impregnated by Carmilla, which it makes sense. It makes sense why Carmilla would do that, because after Kelly noticed that her son was literally a monster. Not human exactly. Sybil came to her. Which, why did Sybil come to her all of a sudden? What? And how does she know about this? Huh? Like, obviously Kelly isn't aware that maybe Carmilla did this, which it is how it is. But I would be kind of suspicious of this. Not gonna lie. Now, the betrayal. Enoch and clearly Carmilla made a deal. Now, obviously, Carmilla was planning to betray Enoch from the beginning when she saw him because of her vision. Um, Now the issue is, I don't really am sure if this betrayal was that necessary, because from Charlie's memories, we can decipher um that Camilla was actively trying to manipulate, well, Charlie, and she knew that Charlie was probably gonna die. Eddie, was in control of her father, so there was no chance he was gonna win. But she still did something specific, um, with the sigil, with the artifact down there, which I'm not sure. I am not sure if Camilla did the right thing there, because the artifacts probably kept Eddie in town, Charlie's beloved. Though I'm just rambling right now. This might be a little bit too advanced even for my insanity. Um, Now, what are the relations between the entity and Camilla? Not Enoch, because we'll get to that later. But this isn't a video about Enoch, that guy. So the entity, obviously, the only savior we have, the only good friend, the ally, the only one, Giga Chad Wayne, quote unquote, because we aren't really sure if this is Wayne. Well, it is hinted at that Wayne still has some independence and can still, or the entity is just using his memories sometimes. Or, Wayne was. I do have the theory that maybe Tabitha and the entity dated for a bit, but that's completely off the rails, because it is about Wayne after all. Now, I do think that Wayne made a deal with the entity, as we can see from the cage, the dungeon right here. That Camilla, Wayne, with his fingers, with his fingernails, stitched something into the walls about how should I put it? About a spell against Camilla, which makes sense, as the whole fucking house seems like to be a countermeasure against Camilla, as Enoch has knows that she was betraying him on every step he was doing, which it is also Enoch's fault for trying to trick the entity with a broken body. Was it Teddy? I think it was Teddy's body, which had two broken legs, which Wayne even comments about. Now, here's the interesting part. I think Camilla was actively gaslighting Enoch, because it seems as Camilla was actively trying to take the entity's power, and just wanted to gaslight Enoch. And I do in fact not think that the entity would have like accepted decline of relations, because she even said it herself that the entity has been actively trying to destroy the world. So why would the entity should say, oh yeah, I guess I'm fine with that, as long as you guys invalidate the deal. I guess I'm just gonna hold my deal off the bargain here. Like, why would I do that? It has so much better things to do than just do that. Which obviously Camilla betrayed Enoch first. That's pretty much obvious. I don't think it was necessary to betray Enoch, because he most definitely had an idea of what the fuck was going on, and I don't think that he would have let the entity actually destroyed the world. And maybe if Camilla had actually allied with Enoch, which it is questionable, but it might have worked out for them. But sadly, Camilla did not do that. Now, the next thing. Camilla is trying to actively get us laid. Now, this comes from she always hugging us, she always blushing when she does that. Now, I have a crazy theory for this. Kaneka's dad got killed by Camilla because she wanted to get her daughter back. Now, I have no idea, how Kaneka's dad and Camilla met each other. But I presume that Carmilla is trying to, you know, impregnate us. Well, impregnate her with us, you know. I'm just saying. I'm just rambling at this point. Because she doesn't want to stop having children and eating them like Pokemon. I mean, collecting them like Pokemon. This is obviously far-fetched. This could also be a different opinion, just like she wants kids again, I guess. Even though it's weird after all the kids she killed and still has inside of her. But I'm just blabbering about it. Now, I was really thinking about this a lot of time. Like I've been sitting in my room for 2 hours and thinking straight about this. Is Carmilla evil or just fucked up? Because her happy ending is most definitely not a good thing. Well, it is good, quote unquote, but it's most definitely not something in, you know, a human mind could comprehend, because Carmilla isn't human. Well, she isn't human anymore. I think you can see that. Yeah, I wouldn't say that thing is human. Now, the thing is, if we save Kaneka, or well, if we attempt to try and save Kaneka, it's always said that there is a small path that we can go to save, to a road. There is still a road that we can go to save, you know, Scarlet Hollow, which shows that whatever Carmilla is planning is not something happy in regards to us, you know. And something I would also like to mention: everybody in this fucking town says they have our best interest. Carmilla says, "I want to see you as a free man." Wayne says, "I'm the only one who's actually trying to help you," which I get it. He was saving us multiple times, and unlike Carmilla, who was just like, you know, probably not hurting us because she literally can't, which Wayne said. Literally, Carmilla is powerless against us, which obviously brings me to, sadly, this is, out of any reason, this isn't fully into the, okay, out of any reason it goes, oh my god. Okay, now we can get to, Carmilla is aware of the player. If you cheat in Scarlet Hollow in the cutscene and make everybody, you know, love you, Carmilla takes your character away from you, and it is implied that she takes control of the main character, and you know, has a shit talk with us and says, "Oh, you must be very lonely, bitch ass. Well, anyways, I'm gonna take that beautiful body of yours and make a great happy ending," which is kind of suspicious. I'm not gonna lie. But it does seem her intentions are, you know, are good, are valid. Which, it doesn't make any sense to me. Why she's so good? Why she's such a good such a her mind? But it's obvious that she still has ulterior motives and a different plan to what actually is the different definition of a happy ending. No, you could think of yourself as, you know, good, but you're actually evil, which, you know, that would make the mystical and street smart impression of her kind of make sense. But I do think that she's still trying to save the town, as it's always also, you know, inferred from the visions that, you know, she doesn't want this. She doesn't want to trap the town. But we'll see in the next 2 chapters what actually she is planning. Now, the dungeon and the deal with the Scarlet family as well as Carmilla. Now, I do think that Carmilla was fighting for influence over the town, but as we arrived in the town, she pretty much took over the town, which you know, it's kind of understandable. Tabitha isn't really that, like, you know, I mean, yeah, she owns a mine, but like that isn't really giving her much control over, you know, brainwashing T, which, you know, is kind of strong. Carmilla and Tabitha's mother did something to Wayne. Now, I'm not sure if they made him possessed, if they just locked him in there because you know, they want him to get possessed, or if he got possessed somehow, or if obviously there could also be the reason that Tabitha's mother just locked Wayne in there because, you know, they were dating, and, you know, Tabitha's mother was pretty sick in the head. But, you know, Also, how should I put it? Wayne, well, the entity, and Camilla have a obvious rivalry, which is, kind of obvious. It's the entity against, the witch and us, obviously, and they're trying to suck out, toes and see who can suck up the most, which is understandable. We're pretty powerful. We, as the player, are pretty powerful because it seems like both of us are aware of our power of manipulating the story, as Camilla said in the if you cheat the game. Now, obviously, this could be a little thing about this is so funny and you're trying to cheat and the devs want to give you a little spanking, but I don't think that. I don't think that. That can't be. You can't tell me that. Now, another reason why I do think that Camilla killed Kaneka's dad, or well, her husband, is because of the comments that Julius makes, as the deal that he made with the child, because he said something about her husband, but he doesn't go into detail. But he saw her doing something extremely horrible and extremely bad, and he said to himself, "Well, I should capitalize on this, shouldn't I?" He obviously is a man of his words, it seems like, but still, this is interesting because if we do talk, a reason why Kaneka coming back to Scarlet Hollow is because her dad died, and as Kaneka is the key to eating up more children and becoming more powerful. It's interesting that all her daughters that she isn't gonna eat her son, just her daughters, but I'm not gonna question it, but that decision making. Now, there was also something in Enoch's room that we can see that that Camilla was like said in Charlie's chapter, is actively betraying and backstabbing Enoch, which makes him pretty mad. I'm not gonna lie, I would also be pretty mad. You have your witch there, and she's actively trying to undermine you, trying to backstab you, and you're dealing with an entity that was probably consume the whole world. So yeah, you're pretty annoyed from this shit. But so all in all, I do think that the Camilla that we see is actually real. I had an idea that Camilla was always just this thing, just watching the whole time and just giving us the tea and just saying, oh yeah, I'm normal, I'm completely human normal. But it's actually just the fucking monster that through hallucination is deceiving us into actually thinking she's an actually human being, but that's besides the point. But yeah, this would be what I got. It isn't really a theory, more like a thing about what I think the story is for Camilla. Now I obviously have so many theories, about Wayne, about Tabitha, about the whole city, about Enoch, about Charlie, about Kelly. Interesting, Kelly. Which I would say that's pretty understandable, right? Also, before I forget, Sybil said, Camilla, damn, I said Sybil. Camilla said that, Wayne is just a drifter. Which obviously he isn't, he's the fucking entity, biatch. Also, I almost forgot it. Camilla and Kaneka's relationship. Now, it does seem like she does love her children, which, I can understand that it makes you insane after collecting all your children year after year. It would be pretty fucked up if I did that too. Well, I wouldn't be that fucked up, Now, listen, I'm not defending the Scarlets, okay? The Scarlets are pretty messed up. Enoch pretty much doomed the town. But, Camilla could have, probably did something about this. She might have just, kept on working with Enoch and actually tried fulfilling his wish. Which, yeah, it's pretty selfish from me, but, come on. You can't tell me that, she right here actually, has something in mind that actually, is human. A happy ending that is, comprehensible to the human mind. Um, Now, Carmilla is able to, through the tea that she always feeds her daughter, she's pretty much able to manipulate her and, brainwash her. And something else, if you romance Kaneka, and then, if you romance Kaneka, obviously, Carmilla is always trying to hit on you, which is so fucking sick, bro. It's so fucking sick. Even if we are in a relationship, she tries to hit on us and say, "Oh my god, you saved me! Oh, let me hug you! Oh, let me blush!" Ah, like, bro. I do have to say, she's pretty romantic, but. The morality of this, I'd rather choose Wayne. I should rather choose Wayne, and okay, I'd rather choose the entity, I mean, the Wayne is pretty sick, No, what the fuck? Update antivirus protection. Yeah, I have a virus. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, this would be the theory. The theory is, what we all know. Carmilla is an extremely shitty ass gaslighter, which uses the town. Pretty much brainwashes the whole town, gives everybody her tea, fucks over people, makes people pregnant, backstabs everybody, makes her own deals and plans, pretty much, antagonizes the entity. I presume Wayne is the entity. I have no idea what the ditchlings are. I presume either the ditchlings are from Carmilla, or the ditchlings are from the entity, or it's a byproduct of them fighting, and the bitchlings are just saying, "Please, daddy and mommy, please stop." I mean, I don't know the pronouns of the entity or the gender. I do presume they're like everything, they're nothing and everything, which pretty sexy to me. But yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah. That would be it. Obviously, I do have to say, the state that we saw Carmilla in when she was, absorbing Kaneka, I don't know if you can trust that thing, It's obvious that she's, that she is a crazy ass witch. I almost said bitch or whatever. But I don't know if we can trust that thing. I'm just saying, I'm just saying. But that would be for my story explanation for my fairy. I don't know. This seemed fun to me. I love the story. The story is actually kind of crazy. So I like this. Obviously, I'm just scraping the iceberg here. I'm just scraping the iceberg. There is so much more like that Carmilla shit is doing, and I'm just way too incompetent and insane to actually, put that into perspective. Yeah. I wish you liked it, and goodbye.